Good morning and wishing each one a very, very happy Dasera. Thank you so much for being here on Dasera morning, uh, keeping all probably the festivities a little on the side. But I think there is no better day than today to talk about breaking patterns because Dasera is all about winning over the evil or whatever you want to call it. So I think it's time we break our own demons and our own inner patterns so that we can have the strength and come out. So Zeenia today is going to take us through what it is about breaking patterns and what are these patterns all about. And thank you, Zeenia, for really going to take us through because young girl who I've known as a student, as a colleague, a friend, and to see the kind of insights she has is very, very amazing. So, Zeenia, this platform is all yours. You can take your bow and arrow and tell us how we should be using it today to get all the patterns and break them. And very ironically, I'm sitting with this behind, I think, because I said it's quite metaphorically making sense.
Yes. Metaphorically, all of that makes sense. And I think you should just leave your video on for today. That's how it goes.
Sure. And if it's okay, I'm going to have a cup of tea while I'm talking to you today. So that's okay with everybody.
Not a problem at all. Thank you, Zil. Thank you, everyone who's joined us on this beautiful Sunday. Happy Dasera. And I hope you all have your cups of coffee or tea or whatever. I have mine here for sure. All right. If anyone's feeling lazy, just stretch a little. All right. I'm going to try and keep this topic as light as possible and also as interactive as possible because patterns are something which all of us have and have been having since childhood. All right. And so to speak, this entire concept has already been spoken to us during this festival through various sessions, right? Zil has spoken about it. Even Nisha in yesterday's healing session, she spoke about the inner healing, like the child healing, inner child healing, right? Even that gets the process rolling. And today we are concentrating again on how do we break these patterns. We've spoken about a lot of things in the past through a lot of sessions. We've got the snowballing effect already taking place. And in today's session, we are concentrating on how do we find these patterns and how do we start to break them. Okay. For those of y'all who don't know me, I'm going to just introduce myself in 2 sentences. I am Zeenia, and I am a mental health professional. That's it. And rest of it, you all can decide for yourself. And I hope I can help you all with breaking at least one pattern out of the 10 different ones that you all have, probably a list that you all have in your mind. Okay. So Zil, can we get the PPT?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah? So until this PPT comes up, I am going to talk to you all very briefly about where do these patterns begin from. Okay. So as children, we are all dependent on our caregivers. Now our caregivers can be practically anyone, right? And we are learning through them. So can I have like the next slide where there is a quote written?
Yes.
Why do we need to break patterns? It is for this. Okay, so that wisdom is basically you enlightening yourself in order to lead a healthier lifestyle. Don't get into any further jargons. This is it. It's as simple as that. Okay. Moving forward. So I was talking about where do these patterns come from? Okay. So from the beginning, from the early childhood, we are dependent on a lot of people. That is, we've got our parents, we've got our caregivers. Okay. And these are the individuals who help us survive. And it is because of them that we learn a lot of things. There are certain things that are just learned unconsciously as well. direct, and they've become an ingrained part of our day-to-day life. Now, why do we follow these things? It's because we as human beings are all searching for love, for appreciation, for an emotional connect. Like, how often do we have kids, okay, who will say, oh, I don't know why I'm doing it, but my mommy has asked me to do it and hence I end up doing it. Okay, so a lot of patterns begin to start taking place or begin to start taking form from there itself. Now, some of these can be healthy for us and some of them may not be. Okay, so what are patterns? They are a repeated behavior which is formed, which later on becomes like a habit or a routine. Okay, and it is an automatic response to our situations. Our brain can get very lazy at times, so we are looking for quick fixes. I don't want to cut an onion manually, तो मैं mixer लेके आई वो काटने के लिए. Nothing wrong, but then when that mixer stops working, we don't know what to do, right? And all these behaviors are occurring at a very, very subconscious level. We are not even aware about how does it take place or where does it start taking form from. Okay, so this question goes out to others as well. What are some of the patterns which y'all have noticed in yourselves? Y'all can type it down. Y'all can come off, take yourselves off mute and answer as well. Okay, Zil, can I have the next slide, please? Now, how are these patterns formed? Okay, so there is an ongoing debate as to how long does it take for a pattern to be formed. It is anywhere, let's just settle this and let's just say it is anywhere between 21 days to 48 days, depending on an individual. These things start to arise, okay? But why are these patterns formed? Because that cycle that comes into play. That is, there is a reminder. Okay, so initially, why are habits formed? Because we've got some goal in our mind. Okay? Let's say, for example, my goal is to reduce some weight and build up some muscle. Okay, so I put myself on this entire health cycle, this fitness cycle, everything, where I've got my workout in place, I have my nutrition in place, everything is in order. Okay, so now the first day I have an alarm, which is like a reminder. Ha, chalo. Now this is like that trigger, this thing that goes off. I've got my trainer giving me a call saying, chalo Zeenia, buck up, let's start working out. Okay, and that becomes my trigger, that becomes my warning. Once I start following this, say maybe for 2 days, 3 days, on the 4th day, it starts becoming like a routine or like a timetable that I've got to follow. Now that I had started following this entire thing over a period of time, I realized that it has now become a routine and I am showing results. Maybe my weight remains the same, but when people meet me, they say, oh my God, you look so much fit, you look so much more healthy, I'm inspiring people, blah, blah, blah. All these things are also coming into play. And that is how that entire pattern is formed, or a habit is formed, or a ritual is formed, or call it whatever. Okay. Now, not all patterns, I'm coming with a disclaimer over here, not all patterns are bad for you. But following a pattern without even its realization can get very, very difficult for us to eventually break. Okay? We should avoid falling into this routine so much so that when we don't have it in our lives, we find it difficult, that anxiety begins to take place, that anxiety begins to set in, and that is something that we need to avoid. So I've got a couple of things coming up on chat where people are talking about their patterns, which I will get back, I will be reading in the next couple of minutes. Okay, so your patterns initially begin with a goal in mind, okay, and then it later on becomes so inculcated in your life that you are doing it out of awareness. I mean, lack of awareness. You are not even aware that, okay, this is happening. You are doing it from the source of a purpose to be met. And also that there is a reinforcement. There is some gift waiting for me at the end of it. Nahi to apna ek trade ho raha hai ki haan, you lose weight, I'll fit into that size 8 dress which I've purchased for myself. Okay, so now this is like a give and take or a trade-off that begins to take place. So there is always a purpose behind it. Okay, so let's talk about certain patterns which you all have mentioned over here. I'm going to go through the chat. Okay, so Noreen says, when I have something planned in mind and it doesn't work out, it disturbs my entire routine. I take a long time to settle and accept. Exactly what we spoke of. Any routine, whether it be good or bad, okay, if it doesn't fall into that place, it kind of at times it does create that disturbance in our day-to-day activity. All right, and yeah, that is a pattern which one needs to break, because we don't need to get I mean, I don't know how do I put this. That pattern is formed because you allowed it to get formed. It is not something that you need to make it like an ingrained part of your life. So much so that you cannot function without it. Okay. Currently, I have been getting up late at 7 a.m. but have to get up at 6 a.m. to cope up with my day. Yes, I get that. I think we have all fallen out of pattern for quite some time because of the entire lockdown situation. Waiting till last minute to get things done happens. We can't do much about it. I have a pattern of overthinking things. Oh, yes. And overthinking leads to a lot more jargon than it is required. I think it starts from that small speck and I don't even realize where it becomes like this entire snowball, right? And we need to somewhere learn where to break that pattern. We will be talking about these things in some time. How to break them is something that we will be coming down to. And if it is involving someone else, I think you need to ask yourself, does it make sense for me to really overthink so much? Okay, not being able to sleep early. I feel you, Gina. Like I have like the same issue, not being able to sleep early. Always expecting the worst. Oh yes, to happen in any situation. Yes, yes, Simona, I get that. Not being able to give up. Oh yes, use a phone. Oh yes, oh yes. I think social dilemma is something that everyone needs to watch maybe. If cleaning is not done, it kind of disturbs my mind. Very nice. I like that one. Thank you for sharing. Okay, I can't read more chats. I don't know why.
Want me to read them for you?
Striving for perfection. Yes. Okay. I think I have missed out on a couple. I can't. I don't know why.
So the last.
Yeah, Zil, can you read out the next?
Yeah, I can. The one that you were talking about is always expecting the worst to happen in any situation, therefore always expecting the worst of the people involved. The another one was not being able to give up phone use till last minute before sleeping.
Yes.
Then
Aren't we all going through that somewhere?
Oh, I know a lot of people going through that. Why last minute? Phone is always stuck with them.
Right. Yes.
Always striving for perfection. You read this one. If cleaning is not done, it kind of disturbs my mind. Then there is what about long-term patterns in relationships? And there is another one.
What about long-term? With relationships, that's a complete different agenda that we need to, that's a very different topic that we need to deal with. But yeah, briefly, we may talk about it a little later on in the session. Yes. Sorry, Zil. Is that the last one?
No, there are two more. So there is the, which says, I have
Okay.
trained myself to wake up at 5 a.m., which was lost in lockdown, but slowly and gradually I have given myself time to follow routine.
Super.
And the last one is, can't control shouting if I have to repeat myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anisha says, I think I have all these problems above.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a little lag. 1 second. This is not about patterns, guys. There is a slight lag. So if you think you need to turn your videos off, Sumona, you asked me that. That's actually okay, you know, to just save the bandwidth. Please do that for some time. It's fine.
Yes, not to worry. That's okay completely.
Yes,
No problem.
and that was the last pattern shared. Okay.
Great. Okay. So can we move down to the next slide, Zil, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So we spoke about our patterns that we've been seeing, and these are some common patterns as well which arise: eating healthy, working out, overthinking. Someone spoke, I think Nakia spoke of even overthinking. There are bad habits. There are patterns where we want to mend relations. We want to generate new patterns in order to help us deal better in our day-to-day lives, right? The next slide, Jill, please. Okay, so why is it that we need to break negative patterns? They ultimately end up affecting not only us, but they also affect people around us. It starts affecting your family, because I mean, imagine, let's take for example, Mansi spoke of, when things are not kept neatly, it kind of disturbs her. But what if someone else in her family does not want to keep this particular tumbler of coffee in that particular space? They want to keep it someplace elsewhere. Imagine the ruckus it will create, not only in her head, and because she keeps going and telling this individual, Baba, nahi, don't keep here, it irritates me. Imagine the fight it may end up being. Okay, now we are talking about something as simple as cleaning. There are also greater patterns or habits or rituals like alcohol, like smoking, like drinking. Okay, some people suffering from aggression. Like, these are patterns which get even more difficult, not only for yourself, but also those around you. Imagine an individual or a family living with someone who does not know when to control his temper. He is also scared because I don't know what I may say out of this entire, when this entire scenario takes place or the situation takes place. And the opposite person does not know what his reaction would be. What if I get physically hurt? Forget the emotional and the mental abuse, but what about even the physical one? All these things begin to start hampering your life. Your job gets affected. If your behavior is not in place, if certain habits are becoming bigger than you as a person, then yes, your job will be affected. You are not mentally at peace, for sure. So of course, happiness is also something that is affected. You may feel in that moment, oh yes, I'm happy, I like this, blah, blah, blah. But are you really happy? Why do you require a substance or this XYZ habit in order to make you realize that form of happiness? Okay. And your quality of life, you don't really know what is going to happen next. Okay, your quality of life goes for a toss because of the entire stress that is created around this habit, or a pattern or a link between 2 to 3 habits, which becomes like a loop as well, right? So yes, these are some negative impacts that patterns have on us. Are there any other things that you all can think of? If yes, please do put them down in the chat box and we will read through them. Zil, can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, so why is it difficult to break patterns? What do we tell ourselves when we are unable to break patterns? Certain things that I have come across in the last 5 years in therapy is, I don't think it is affecting my life that much. I mean, it is my habit, right? How does it even affect another person? I think I've just, become too used to this, and I don't think I can live without this. So much of negative jargon, so many negative conversations take place in our head. Why do you think? Please put that down in the chat box as well. What do you think would be one of the reasons for you to not break out of this XYZ pattern that you had for yourself? Or if you can take yourself off mute and talk about it, that would be great as well, not to worry. I mean, one thing that I have heard of is, sorry, yes, Bhavna, yes.
Yeah, initially it wasn't a problem for me to get up, but post this lockdown, because everything is slowed down, everyone is working from home, so it's become a part of me, instead of, I tend to be awake at 5:30 and then go back to sleep again. I mean, that's what I'm not finding. I don't know whether it's the comfort level that has set in, that, okay, it's fine, we don't have to rush with tiffin and boxes and all this. I don't know if that's the reason.
Right. Bhavna, I like the question that you've said. Now, okay, just even if you can just put up like an emoticon or an emoji on your screens for this, how many of y'all have faced this issue during the lockdown, especially where your pattern, which was set earlier on, has completely had a change? Like there is no timetable whatsoever. Show of hands will do anything. Yeah. Quite a few of us are going through this. Yeah. Yes. So, what Bhavna has to say, yes, 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 a lot of people, we are getting a lot of needs, yes, okay. So a lot of people have gone through it, okay. I have been through it myself, and it does get difficult because, see, the first few days, we ended up thinking that, yeah, it's a matter of 2 weeks and everything will get back to normal. But it continued from 2 weeks, it moved to another 2 weeks, to moving to month, 2 months, 3 months, and now the lockdown just keeps getting extended. And yes, Bhavna, to burst that bubble, it is because that comfort has been created. We don't have to rush anywhere. That is something so beautifully put. Where do I need to go? I'm just working from home. I am in my space. My husband's in one space. My children are doing some schooling someplace elsewhere, all right, in some other corner of the house. I don't need to rush anywhere. We are all allotted in our own spaces. I don't have to get ready. I don't have to make the buzz. I don't have to do anything. Let me wake up a little late. And yes, that does rob you of a lot of things that happen in your head. Okay, those anxieties do creep in because, I mean, I don't know what to do next. My advice, I don't usually say this, but I would say, why don't you start putting on an alarm and wake up at 5:30 and get yourself engaged in something or the other. Practice some breathing, do some journaling, do some reading, try doing that. Because ultimately, if you think that that 5 o'clock system did help you at some point in time, it doesn't hurt. Even if I don't have anywhere to rush, at least if that gave me some form of grounding, let me get back to it. Does that make sense, Bhavna?
Actually, I switch off the alarm and go back to sleep.
Yeah, so now you have
something that needs to motivate me to, just get up. Also, one more reason probably because I've been handling everything here. My husband has been staying away from home, and because of that, I've got into that alert sleep. So now that he is here, probably I am looking for that, more sleep, relaxing more. I don't know whether even this is the reason that is stopping me from waking up even after putting off the alarm. I don't know.
There could be many reasons. There could be many reasons, okay, behind not being able to wake up. But if you think 5:30 is difficult, try maybe 6:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smaller, shorter jump.
Yeah. So try. Um, Instead of waking up at 8, maybe try waking up at 6:30, and start your day off a little early. You will get a lot of time to yourself. I hope you realize that as well.
Absolutely, that's what I'm looking for actually. Because I have realized it, and that I'm not getting that creative time anywhere. I can't block time for myself.
Exactly. Yes. So try waking up at least, say maybe like 6:30, and see how it works for you.
Can I share Ruchi here?
Sure, Ruchi.
Yeah, so like for me also the waking up pattern had completely been disrupted. So I personally tried a lot of pranayam. I tried anulom vilom. Then I tried breathing exercises, mindfulness. So that helped me to be at bed by 10 o'clock, give me sound and deep sleep, and automatically of course it was a lot. I had to give myself that time, not giving up, that patience. I had to build it for myself, but it worked out. If you do it genuinely and honestly and you are dedicated towards it, it will definitely come to you. And like it's been 15 days now, I have been waking up at 5 a.m. and my productive hours have increased, and like I can do a lot of things right now which was completely had gone for a toss. So you have to just give yourself that time and patience, and because it's a pattern that has been formed, so to break it you have to just don't give up and try. And as you said, like waking up initially start at 6:30, then 6 o'clock. So that technique I have tried for myself, so it has worked.
Super. Thanks, Ruchi. Thank you for sharing, Bhavna. I hope even that helps.
Yes. I just had a question. Suppose like I have that thought that I needed to cover up my sleep for all these years or months, How do I break that thought? See, that's the thought, and usually in the daytime, it's easy to break your thought. I do that many a times. When I just want to recline, I can tell myself to no and move on to some activity. But just waking up, I think few rigidities are stopping me, I think so. Doing pranayam in the bed without cleaning oneself is not very fine with me. So I think probably I'll have to adjust with few rigidities, I think.
That's true. Also, when you spoke of maybe, I'm covering up for the sleep, which I've not got in the past few years, okay? Think about it in these terms, that your body, when you are ready to wake up, it will wake up by itself. We tell ourselves that yes, we require 8 hours of sleep. Yes, that is the minimum sleep that we require in order for our brain to function properly. But if we continue to sleeping in, then our brain is also equally getting lazy, and so is our body. So yes, times when you have to force yourself and get out. Okay, because that's where that rigidity, like you correctly mentioned, will break, and you have to start taking onus and start understanding that yes, it is not. See, until your body doesn't say that yes, this is having an effect on my life personally and it is not helping me any further, you will not manage to break any pattern. Okay, disclaimer, and let's burst this bubble here. You are never going to manage to let go of a pattern. You are going to manage, and you will have to replace that pattern with a new one and a better one that works for you.
So, Zeenia, I am very, very keen to share something. Can I? Just an insight which may help.
Please do.
So when this is my feeling from what you all are sharing, and I'm just giving my another perspective to it. When I'm desperately trying to break a pattern and I put my focus there and say, I have to do this. I've always woken up at this time. I've always done this. Why can't I do it? That makes that pattern even more stronger and more difficult to actually break. One of the first thing that has helped me and that what I have used is accept, okay, I'm not waking up early. Okay, Fair enough. And if you're not waking up early, it's okay. Why can't we just allow that? Okay, theek hai na? I've always done it before. Maybe right now, this is the demand of my body, mind, soul, spirit, whatever level. And right now, I'm not. Let's see what happens. You observe yourself if you're slipping into another new pattern and whether that pattern is healthy or unhealthy for you. Okay, but if you're waking up late, for example, but you're still managing to do everything in the same spirit with the same quality, then really is that pattern an unhealthy pattern?
That's right.
I'm a classic example of doing things last minute. In fact, I put it down here. But I've also noticed that when I do my last minute, most of my things, the quality has not got sacrificed. I feel last minute because everybody says you should work on time, work on time, work on time, because everyone has told me that. But sometimes the last minute work is fabulous for me. I get a bigger kick out of it probably. Not that it means I don't break a pattern or I don't create. I need to get that laziness out. But what I'm trying to tell, not only Bhavna, because this may be true for a lot of your Bhavna. In fact, thank you for bringing this point up, because it gives that insight that, you know, to break a pattern, you have to first accept that, yes, this is a pattern. And if you really put too much of attention, that pattern becomes stronger to let go or break. And for breaking patterns, like Zeenia just said, you to create a new pattern, which is a more healthier one for us, and then move ahead. Sorry, Z, I had to say this because, you know, it was like, you know, there's another insight to this, that why can't we accept our patterns we have? Because that is us also. And there must be a reason for it.
Yes, it's like the pink elephant in the room.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And I mean, my take is that if we realize our patterns and if we are aware, okay, yeah, this is a different pattern right now. This is what I used to do. And fair enough, the lockdown has changed all our patterns. It's not only one person's pattern. Universally, everyone's routines got hijacked. So it's not our fault. So you can't be hard on ourselves. That's all I'm saying. Don't be hard on yourselves.
I think one more insight that I had just now when you spoke is, yes, acceptance is one part, but also the reason why I want to wake up. Yes. I think so. I'm thinking more on why I shouldn't wake up, because all these years I have not got the sleep. Probably. Yeah.
Probably enjoy it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Enjoy it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm fighting with my own self, not able to sleep on time.
That inner battle or that inner pattern we have, that because we are conditioned that this has to happen this way, I am supposed to do it this way, prayers can take place only after this, breathing can take place only, that is another pattern, which is an internal unseen pattern that needs to break.
True.
Yeah. Zeenia, sorry, didn't want to just take this.
You.
You're welcome. You can go back because you're there, Z. Zeenia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I think I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, because for some time you had disappeared, so I kept talking.
Yes. Thank you. No, my apologies. I had to move from a lot of networks and then come back. Okay. Okay, full screen there. Okay, great. So after, I think, a very healthy discussion, we could probably move on to what can we do in order to break these patterns, or how can we manage to break these patterns. May I have the next slide, please?
Zeenia, the next slide is on, just that your voice is breaking a lot and cutting. So,
okay. I'm not really sure.
Can you close the video, Zeenia? It's okay. So that we don't lose your voice. Sorry guys, just 1 second, okay? Technical hitch, just 1 minute.
Yes. Is it better?
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
hope so.
Yes, 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 yes. Are you there?
Zil, is it audible? Is it better? Yeah?
Yes, this is
Great.
audible.
Okay. So what can we
Okay, till she comes back, I'm just going to pitch in and just bring in a little talk. So the idea what Zeena was trying to say is that we all know that we have patterns. We all know that some patterns are healthy and some may not be so healthy. And we all want to break out of the loop that we are in. But the question has always been is how do I break out of this? What do I do to break this pattern? And how am I supposed to deal with it and keep it consistent? Okay, so first, you are going to identify the triggers, that what triggers this pattern of yours. Okay, so what I suggest is, why don't you just take one pattern right now, a simple pattern, okay? Mind you, we're not doing like a therapy session, just a simple pattern which you want to change or want to break or make a new, healthier one. Just identify one pattern of yours that you'd like to work on. I'm giving like a minute for you all to make a note of it, maybe on a paper or pen.
but I don't know how. I just hope that this stays. Am I audible? If yes, then great. Or else I'm so sorry for this hitch.
There is no voice.
Yeah, sorry. Have you all written your triggers? I've got some clarity because I'm just reading the chat. You all can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Now that if you've identified the trigger, ask yourselves why you would like to change this particular pattern of yours, okay? And the trigger and what is triggering it. If you can make any change. Zeenia, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Am I audible? Is the question.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So, Zil, thank you very much for pitching in. I'm so sorry for this
Don't worry. Absolutely fine.
that just happened. But yes, like Zil mentioned, I hope you all have figured out a pattern and ask yourself this question: why do you want to break it? Is it affecting you to such an extent that you need to break it? And before doing all these things, accept that yes, I have formed a pattern. You know, I in the previous some couple of chats back, I read if the new pattern is working for me, then why break it or why change it? If the new pattern is working for you, great. You are replacing the old one with a new one. But don't get so carried away that even this begins to have an impact on you. So much so that once that pattern, there is a move in your environment again, you cannot function. Anything on both the extremes is not something that we are looking in for. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so why is it that you want to break out of this pattern? Think for yourself, write it down, make a note of it. Now ask yourself, what can I do? What are the initial steps which I can take from my end? If you have certain things in your mind, then write them down. Along with that, also ask yourself, do I have the bandwidth to do this? As in, do I have, say, maybe support of an XYZ friend? Maybe I can take help from my parents. Maybe I can take help from my siblings. Maybe I can take help from a work colleague. Maybe I can reach out to a classmate who has not probably been in touch with me for a very long period of time, but I know that he also or she also has been through something similar. Yeah. Ruchi spoke of this some time back, where she spoke about breaking her pattern by being mindful. So yes, practice being mindful. Understand that, okay, this is the trigger. This is what I have, now that I've identified my trigger, I know this, my body is reacting this way, and this is going to put a stop. This is probably that negative pattern, that habit may come into play again. Okay, and this is where I need to be mindful of all the behaviors that are taking place in my body. Like we mentioned before, replace your habit with a different one. Do not try and break that pattern. But what you need to do is try, in order to break that pattern, you need to replace it with a new one, because already that neural pathway has been formed. Understand that. Okay, so when you, okay, I hope my net supports me now. Okay, because I want to show you all something. So one of my teachers back in, one of my teachers had taught me this. Okay, how does a neural pathway form? It initially begins with a light mark like this. Okay, and then when we start enriching it because of a lot of reinforcements that take place, the neural pathway starts to get darker. Right? Now, when this darkness is formed, when it starts getting dark over and over again, what do? That even if when you erase it, even if it is formed with a pencil, when you try and erase it, that mark still continues to remain. So what you need to do is, once your pattern is off, you need to replace at least that imprint again with a new one. Okay, so that that gap has been filled. Okay, leave yourself reminders, put sticky notes, put some reminders on your phone. Something as simple as, I will, there are some people who tell me that, you know what, I cannot drink water. How do you end up having like 8 and 10 glasses of water in a day? You can't have that much water. It is fine. You need a reminder at all point in time. It's okay. There are apps available on phone now which will remind you every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour that, okay, Zeenia, get up, have some water. You all have an Apple Watch. It has a sedentary, or any other digital watches. They've got this thing, right? That, okay, get up, move. So if you think I cannot get like 10,000 steps in a day, don't worry. You have something to rely on. These are reminders. These are small things that you can start doing. Okay. So I think on the path to recovery, we forget, or on the part of forming new habits, we forget that there are going to be slip-ups. If you are moving 4 steps ahead, please be ready to accept that I will have a slip somewhere. I may have a fall here or there. Okay, and that should not be discouraging. I read this very beautiful quote this morning. When you have to restart, or when you have to start doing something again, understand you are not doing it from scratch. You are starting from experience. You know what the problem was. You know where you slipped off, and you will avoid doing that the next time. Okay? Now, let go of all or nothing. Both the extremes. Okay, I want this and this in this much time. If I don't get it, I want none of it. If we can bargain with the fruit seller wala, why not bargain with yourself also? Right? Somewhere you can do that. Na? I want to reach a weight of 45 kilos. At the age of 28, I know it is difficult, a little difficult. Okay, 6 months, 48 kilos. No, I have to push myself a little more. Okay? So, along with nutrition, along with everything, I compromise and I say, oh, okay, 51 will also do. And then slowly we can come down. Okay? Start small. Bhavna, if we cannot wake up at 5:30, we start waking up at 6:30 instead of waking up at 8. Or even instead of waking up at 8, we start waking up at 7:30. Half an hour also, if we start reducing, I think it starts working well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, instead of, okay, so if you have that goal in mind, okay, you have to also have that vision that, yes, I want to be a healthy, fit person. I want to see myself eating that bowl of salad. Visualize yourself eating that bowl of salad. And yes, set realistic goals. Correct. Vandana said it so rightly. You need to be realistic. Okay. Just because someone else could do it does not mean that I will also manage to do it in that much amount of time only. You can either do it in a less time or might just take a little bit longer. Okay, so be prepared for all the situations and scenarios, but at least start and put yourself on that journey. Okay, make small changes in and around your environment. I want to quit smoking. I will see to it that I do not have those triggers around me. Matlab, if I need to quit smoking, I am not going to put like that tempting box around me. I'm going to put that away. I'm going to probably discard it. Start small. Okay, I'm not going to say maybe if I am having a lot of, I'm not going to just one day wake up and say, okay, I'm going to stop smoking completely. I'm going to start reducing those cigarettes, the amount of intake which I have. And then I'll get off it. Okay, even coffee for that matter, right? You can start reducing the intake. You can start putting a bottle of coffee away. Okay, some changes in your environment, in and around your environment. What else? Visualize yourself breaking that pattern. How you will feel once that pattern has been broken. Okay. Practice self-care. Someone typed something nice down. Be kind to yourself. So nice. Yes. Be kind to yourself when you are sleeping. Yes. Don't beat yourself up. So yes, that is also a self-care practice. Okay. That is also being kind, taking care of yourself is also something that is very essential. If you are putting yourself on this journey of breaking a pattern, it is difficult because this has been ingrained in your life for quite some time. Whether it is 3 weeks or whether it is 48 days or whether it is years, it doesn't make a difference. It has been a part of your day-to-day. Definitely, please realize that. So be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. Practice self-care. Meditate. Spend some time with yourself. Do some artwork. Right? We have both shows. Something ahead from there. Those things also be incorporated in your day-to-day life. Yeah. Do not be afraid to give yourself rewards. Why do we always rely on someone else to reward us something? You think I've done something good. Okay, if you think I have, followed a routine religiously for like 10 days, 15 days, if you think I deserve it, go ahead and give yourself a reward. Don't always need an external person to do it. You can reward yourself saying, if I eat a small sweet, or okay, if you're getting off smoking or something like that, then please don't go and smoke. I mean, unless it is like really getting tempting. Okay, but I mean, still, hold on to that. Don't just go and get back to it, because that one smoke can then later on turn into a lot of things. So please avoid doing that as well. Okay, but yes, replace it. Now that you've replaced it with a better habit, indulge in something rewarding. Okay, today I'll go out, I'll probably treat myself for a good dinner. You can do that. Why not? Celebrate. We forget celebrating small wins. Okay, so do that. It is fine. And most important thing, give it time. Okay, please don't be in a hurry. Some may take 6 months, some may take 6 years, some may take a lot of time in order to break a pattern or a habit. Okay, and it is fine. As long as you are able to do it, it is okay. All right. Last thing, if you think that you cannot do this alone, please feel free to reach out and get professional help. There is no shame in doing that. We as mental health professionals also go in for help. So yes, it is completely okay to reach out for help. It is completely okay to seek help when you know that, okay, I cannot do this alone by myself. And you will be surprised as to how beautifully the community is going to help you. Even being linked to one support system or a one support group will end up making you realize so much about yourself, about just bringing a lot of things into perspective. Yeah. If there is anything that I have missed out, please forgive me. Forgive me. But I think I have this as concise and please forgive the network as well. But if there are any other questions, queries, anything you all want to share, please put it up on chat. We can interaction to say anything. And thank you very much for chipping in and stopping in the meal that I disturbed you.
You're always welcome, Z.
But yes, that is it. Thank you very much. I hope you all are able to get some of your patterns broken through this. Even one, start with one, probably then you can move to the next one. And yes, please don't try and break all patterns together. Huh? It won't.
So basically, Zeenia was saying, we do take small steps. We are not going to break all patterns together because trust me, it will look like a Herculean task, and just seeing that will demotivate us to go ahead to break a pattern. So as Zeenia was saying, pick one pattern, work on it, and slowly mold it into a more healthier pattern. Okay, because to break a pattern or habit takes the longest, and then to rebuild another one to consistently will even take this equal amount of time. So start with smaller ones, achievable ones, because that will motivate you to go forward. And once you're able to finally, this one I changed, oh wow, this one I changed, then you can start working to a bigger one. Z, you're here?
That's right. Yes, I'm here. So start with something small, move on to something bigger, all right? And don't try and do everything together, because that is clearly not going to help. You need to take small steps, and most important, be consistent. That is something that you need to remember. And consistency can also be a reminder for you. On certain days, just show up for yourself. I think that is also what makes the difference, right? Let's start small, and let's hope we are able to break some patterns. It's the Sarah, and probably we can start off something from today itself.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful space to begin.
Yes, indeed. Totally.
So, from Zeenia, what you've shared today and what I am just going back and trying to put it all together while others are still sharing their thoughts on chat. Sometimes just the way we word things, we have this habit of saying, I have to break the pattern. But if we replace that with I choose to, that becomes empowering by itself, because I have to is a very disempowering statement.
Right.
So probably, whatever Zeenia said, I'm trying to put it into like maybe little ones for us to remind all ourselves that, when I choose to do something, which means I've taken onus and responsibility and I want to move ahead with it. Okay. When we focus on finishing something, I have to get this, I have to finish with this thing and I have to finish this project, then we are directing our attention to something which is very vague or very highly idealized form of doing things. Okay. And sometimes it's very hard to start off only the task. So the solution here is not to focus on finishing, but actually starting. So even with the pattern which you want to break, I am choosing to start on molding and changing this pattern, and that wording will also help you move ahead. Same way, when we talk of these big, long patterns, Zeena, what I've understood is take a shorter one, take a smaller one, and so that you're able to work on it and it does not intimidate you, right? So it keeps you motivated and gives you the direction that you need, and it does not scare you at all. Because as you achieve the small ones, then you can build and, look for the larger patterns to break. And I think it's very important from what you've said is that this is not the project that we are on to break patterns is not to impress anybody, right? It is for your own self.
Yes.
So that
do it because you want to do it, not because someone else has asked you to do it.
True, very true. So, you can start with small tasks which you would like to overcome. And it's okay if it is an imperfect step. We all have this thing of perfectionism. It has to be barabar, aise hi hona chahiye. Nobody has given us that in writing. Guys, God also doesn't say take a bath and come and take my name. Okay, that's just conditioned by us for years together. Because when you are in a desperate situation, you don't think whether I've had a bath or not had a bath. You will still take God's name. So, that's so true, Zeena, what you said, that we focus on small, small things. And the minute we start focusing on small tasks, we allow ourselves to be imperfect also. And that's also okay, and we can accept it. And it's beautiful that we've got to feel terrific. So that is why we've got to celebrate, right? That only if we celebrate, we would want to move ahead. And well, I think when you're doing this breaking of patterns and building new patterns, you've got to give yourself some time to play and chill also. So if you're not going to enjoy it, and if this becomes like a morose, long period way of working, where we are trying to overcome this huge mountain by climbing it, and if that is the way we are thinking, then I don't think it's going to work. So I think this is what I have gauged from whatever you've said, Zeenia, and shared. Thank you so much. I think truly commit to everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you to bring this to our awareness. And as you commit yourselves to break your unhealthy patterns and build new ones, also commit yourselves, like Zeenia and others have said, be kind on yourself. Give yourself the leisure. Give yourself the celebration. Give yourself that pat on the back that is really required, because that is what will help us move forward and move through this breaking of patterns. I mean, that's my way. I mean, that's the way I can close this.
And you're doing it for yourself. Totally, yes.
Yeah, so I think.
Thank you, Zin.
You're
very
most
much.
welcome. Thank you, Zeenia, and thank you for all the lovely sharings on the group that you all have had. Thank you for all your patience because of the technical hitches.
Oh yes, thank you for being patient. Whoever said that I'm not patient, you all waited. You all sat through this 1 hour. I think that is where your breaking of patterns have already begun. Thank you very much.
Superb.
For being here on this lovely festive Dasera and a beautiful Sunday. Thank you very much, Zil, for having my back throughout the session, like quite literally.
Don't worry on that. Always there.
Thank you so much.
And so go back, guys. Having the power and in your own hands. So we don't have to go shoot and put an arrow to some other Ravana outside. Okay, let's just do that within. And if we are able to do that within, trust me, the outside wouldn't matter at all. Yes.
True. True.
So lovely. I think on that note, Zeenia, thank you so much. I'm going to see a lot of y'all at 4 o'clock for another lovely session, because if we are talking of demons and talking of breaking patterns, let's create something which is more peaceful, which is a mandala, which is very different. This is not the drawing one. So if you would like to come in, just leave a message, or if you've not received a message of the link, let us know. We will send it to you. And see you all for I Am Peaceful Mandala today at 4 o'clock. Okay. Thank you all. Have a super
happy recording of this.
Sorry.
Happy Dussehra to all.
Recording of this.
So the recording, what's going to happen is that we are not sharing recording with anybody right now. But the idea is that once the festival is over, all the talks will go on the YouTube channel, which we'll share the link. So don't just leave the groups right now, because the links will be shared there. Only the talks. No healing circles will go on the YouTube, because those are personal spaces.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Amazing session. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you all. Happy Dussehra. Have a good time.
Yeah,
Eat
happy
jalebi
Dussehra.
papdi on my end, because I don't have that today. So please eat on my behalf.
Happy Dussehra to all.
Thank you, Bhakti. Bye-bye.
Bye.